Every morning, the countdown begins for the markets with meticulous research and analysis designed to help you capitalize on the trading day. Beaming live from the CNBC TV 18 Motilal Oswal studio.
Good morning. You're with us here on a fresh new edition of Bazaar Morning Call. Thursday morning, we are coming to you live from the CNBC TV 18 Motilal Oswal studios. Lots to tackle. US-China is top of mind. There was Fed, lots of big earnings. And of course, our markets here, which are about 150 odd points on the Nifty away from an all-time high. I'm Prashant. With me, my colleague Surbi and Mangalam is with us today. Guys, good morning.
Morning. Morning, Prashant. Morning, Mangalam. Let's get the pictures, actually. I think we've got some visuals as well. The most high-profile meeting taking place in Busan in South Korea. There, the handshakes have started. Then the talks, more or less, it seems to be like a foregone conclusion, should we say? Because that's what the US president has been posting about, saying he's very confident of that trade deal with China. So interesting. It's going to be center stage. But then we have so many global earnings, local earnings, and some very good ones at that we have to go over. But right now, Mangalam, it's all smiles there.
It's all smiles there. It's all smiles there as of now. Let's see how that goes. But, like you said, the prices are telling you that things are perhaps on the mend, not just between US and China, perhaps US and India as well. We got comments yesterday as well. So all these things looking good towards the end of this year as we move towards Christmas. There will be some sort of cheer. But be that as it may, the good part for me yesterday was thrice in the last 1 week, we crossed 26,000. But for the first time, we closed above 26,000 in a little over a year. So that's something that tells you that November series has started well.
And just one more point, guys, and we'll talk about this as we go forward. For me, the one cue that really was the biggest, brightest ray of hope yesterday was L&T's order intake. It's really blown past expectations. They're saying they're going to probably surpass their own order intake guidance for the year. And some people are already writing about whether this is a sign of finally that private capex cycle picking up or not. So we'll see. We'll debate this as we go forward. But yeah, we've got some good cues to start with.
You guys missed the those pictures when they came in. Did you notice President Trump looked taller than President Xi? No, I'm not kidding. President Xi is actually, when you, I don't know, I'll have to check what his height is, but he looks taller.
I just Google it for you.
Taller. I don't know if they've done something there.
The tall statesman leading the world, Prashant.
Okay, all right. Well, let's just take it from the top then, right? In terms of what you need to know as we begin this fresh new trading session. So Fed is the first cue. They've cut by 25 basis points. They've sort of ended the balance sheet runoff, which is the quantitative tightening. And they're also, Powell sounded hawkish about December. And he basically said that, U.S. equities, they ended undecided. I'll get to what he said in just a bit, exactly what he said. So S&P was unchanged. Nasdaq was up about 0.5% or so. So Powell essentially said that rate cut in December is far from a foregone conclusion. Many are saying, well, this is kind of hawkish, right? But what else could he have said? He couldn't have said, well, we are going to cut in December and, this is the start of a big easing cycle. Even if it were to be a big easing cycle, central bankers typically like to keep a little bit of suspense out there. Otherwise, the trajectory is set and markets start to price all of that in the very, very near term, which then leads to problems, second-order problems. So, and that's the reason why. While yields went up, 10-year was up about 9 basis points, about 4.07. Markets have not budged, despite the December comment from Jerome Powell. Markets are still expecting a cut. The consensus market pricing is still for a cut in the month of December. So that's it. Otherwise, the Fed meeting was last, except this bit about December, it was largely not very, there was nothing very surprising. There were two dissents, one basically asking for a pause, the other saying, well, it should not have been 25, but 50 basis point cut. That's President Trump's man on the FOMC now. Now, the other one, of course, is the outcome of the Trump-Xi meeting. The pictures are coming in, but the outcome, I think, is what we need to wait for. Will we get a bit of a framework kind of a deal, the outline of a deal? Directionally, no further hostilities, I think, is what the market is betting on, even if we don't get very, very much in terms of specific details, because a trade deal, an actual deal between two countries, and let alone the size of US and China, will take some time. But maybe a framework deal and end of hostilities, at least for now. Nvidia is the other one, right? Hit $5 trillion in market capitalization last night. And of course, I mean, here also there's the China involvement. Hope that NVIDIA will be able to get back into China, sell their Blackwell chips, etc. And of course, I mean, NVIDIA in the GTC event showcased a lot of their capabilities, lots of partnerships, etc. Big earnings overnight. All of them reactions aftermarket. Google stock in the aftermarket is up 7%. Meta, Microsoft are lower in aftermarket. I mean, numbers are okay. Numbers are actually good even for Microsoft. Meta may be a little bit higher in terms of guidance compared to what they said earlier, CapEx guidance. But there's a fair bit of positioning, etc., involved with these bunch of stocks which has attracted so much flow. Apple and Amazon, by the way, report numbers later tonight. Now, numbers don't change for as far as the levels are concerned. For the Nifty, the resistance is 26,104 and 26,227. That's the range. And we're very close. I mean, as I said, 150 odd points away from the all-time high, which is 26,227. On the way down, the support zone is 25,718 to 25,665. You could also trail the 40-hourly exponential, which we are above. You got the Bank Nifty, which needs to cross the high of 58,577. Again, very close. And then, of course, past that, 58,961, 59,895. These are extension levels of the last move. And Bank Nifty support comes in at the low of 57,482. Gift Nifty gives you a quick sense of how we're likely to start, and then we'll pick it up from there. 44 points lower on the Gift Nifty after yesterday's 100-point move high. But this is just the start. We'll have to sort of see how trade progresses. Indicative open on your screen. But what's the F&O positioning looking like, and where are we at? Mangalam, take it away.
Well, I'll just tell you about the F&O positioning, but before that, a closed loop here, which is Xi Jinping's height. That's 5'11", and Donald Trump's listed height is 6'3". So the difference actually is looking a lot lower than what, the reported height of both these gentlemen is. That's about 4 inches. Sorry?
6'3".
Obviously, he's among the tallest that we know of in the developed world, at least. So 6'3" is President Trump, Xi Jinping between 5'10" and 5'11". There you have it. Okay, and the difference here is actually looking a lot less than the reported this thing.
So actually, I had it backwards then because I thought
Jay was taller.
Yeah, I thought but anyway, we have it settled now.
We have it settled now. Let's walk to the F&O desk and tell you a little about what the setup out here is. So if you look at the frontline indices yesterday, the start to the November series wasn't particularly bad. We had the Nifty closing above the 26,000 mark. The Nifty Bank picked up towards the latter half of trade, and it's the IT index which actually had been fairly resilient. More importantly, we closed above that 26,000 mark, and that's very crucial because over the last 4 or 5 trading sessions, every time we crossed past that 26,000 mark, 26,104, which was the October 23 high, we closed below 26,000. But yesterday, the high was 26,098 and the close was 26,054. So we did not give up much from the day's high. That's speaking about resilience. At the same time, we are just a very short distance away from the all-time high of 26,277. So 26,000 to 26,277 is what the option writers are believing that the range for the market would be. Why do I say that? Because if you look at the 26,000 put, premium of 90 rupees telling you between 25,900 to 26,000 is an important support zone. So to that extent, the Gift Nifty's gap down is perhaps a positive for the bulls. On the way up, however, call writers are active at 26,100 for a premium of 161. Add 161 to 26,100, that gives you 26,261, very close to the record high. Also, if you add about 100 points to 26,200, so between 26,250 to 26,300, if and when we were to hit that record high, there could be some profit booking, which cannot be ruled out. But apart from that, if you look at, the FII action in index futures, they continue to sell after having started the series fairly well. So yesterday, they sold about 1,200 crores, added about 6,500 long contracts. And when they started the series, they were 20% long. Right now, they're 19% long and 81% short. That's actually not a very bad thing. In fact, we've been making this point over the last 2 series or so. And if you look at, the F&O positioning of the FIIs and the subsequent movements of the Nifty over the next few months. If you look at it in April 23, the FII started with 9% long exposure. Over the next 4 series, the Nifty was up 2,500 points. November 2023, FII started with 11%. The next 2 series, Nifty was up 3,000 points. As recent as September 2025, when the FII started the September series, they were just 8% long, went lower to October at 6%. And over the next 2 series, we've already gotten 1,500 points. So let's see where that goes from here. The one stock that I'll be watching out for today in particular would be United Spirits, because it was fairly well bid in trade earnings today, and it has crossed the 200-day moving average with a lot of long positions being added on this counter. So far, the numbers that have come in from this space have been fairly positive, the likes of Radico, Khaitan, etc. So let's see whether United Spirits follow suit.
Speaking of Radico, Ketan, Mangalam, I was at a concert in Mumbai,
The Enrique Iglesias
concert, and all I could see was phenomenal marketing by Radico. They had captured everything out there. So, yeah, it's an interesting way of introducing premium products, perhaps. Catch them young, catch them early, so to speak.